Here's some of the supplies you'll need for the project. At least if it's a completely blown voice coil and you're going to have to tool the whole speaker back together again. Start with some of the tools. This is just the basics. It might not be everything you'll need. Pliers. I got a flathead screwdriver, a file. That's a circular file. I don't know the precise name of it. Of course, you want a soldering gun to reconnect the tensils later. Solder. If you do have to wrap the coil again, a magnet wire. And I'll list where I buy these from on the annotations. Tape measure. Again, I don't know the exact name of these things. It's like a rock grinder, something like that. Corrugating knife, non-corrugating knife. Eyedroppers. Clay. This is just modeling clay, nothing special. PVC piping, which is preferable. You can go with other things. I'll talk about that later. Sorry, my shadow's in the way here. Masking tape, painter's tape, electrical tape, 9-volt battery, non-stick. This is waxed aluminum foil. That's very important. That's like one of my number one things right there. Sharpies, permanent markers. Replacement blades for a box cutter knife. Fiberglass netting. I'm not sure what it's called exactly. Latex gloves, very important. A fast cure epoxy, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, something like that. JB Weld. Polyurethane. Polyurethane, I like the kind from Loctite. It's the only one I've ever used, so can't tell you about other brands, but I love that stuff. Really good. This is one of the most important things also. A Remco 805 epoxy. I'll list also where I got it from. It's about 90 bucks. And I don't know if the company will let you buy less than $100 worth. You know, if you buy it from them, you might have to do the minimum order of $100. So sorry if you have to buy 2 sets of that, but when I'd originally bought it from them, I bought a ceramic glue as well. Because I didn't know what would work the best when I was wrapping the coils, if I could use a high temperature epoxy, or if I'd have to use a ceramic. Since the ceramic takes 3,000 degrees, but it has problems with expansion. Anyways, I call them Bounty towels, even if it's not from Bounty, but you know, anything that, see, it doesn't have any designs on it, because the acetone, you're going to be using it to wipe down parts that you're going to be bonding with glues. You're going to be cleaning your hands from the oils and stuff from your hands. And you don't want inks and stuff that's going to be contaminants to any of these parts that you're cleaning. Alcohol, isopropyl, 91%, that's what I have. Try to get a higher purity if you can. Alright, that's most of the basics right there. And then you want something to test the speaker at first. I use the AV receiver with a subwoofer output. Does plenty good for me. Alpine Type R, that's the one that I'm about to fix. It's got a couple issues. I know it was in a car wreck too, and it's probably banged up pretty bad. I know the coil's out of alignment, but it don't matter. Whatever's wrong with it, even if the magnet's busted, I'm going to be fixing it. And that's one of the harder fixes. If a magnet is broken, I recommend not doing it, but since I'm going to go with this full throttle, it don't really matter what's wrong. Heat cure oven, and this is about as jury-rigged as it gets. I'm running 3 bulbs. Let's see, that's a 500 watt, which is also selectable on a filter. I have a resistor to be 80 to 100 watts. So that's either 500 or roughly 100 watts. That's 500, and this is 150. Inside, I have 3 halogen bulbs that correspond to the wattages. And I have a stirring fan that I put a heat sink on top of right here. And it's just stirs the air up inside the box to keep it at even temperature. And I use this as a resistor for it to keep the voltage down and not burn out my transformer, my adapter for it. This right here, I got at Home Depot. I don't know the brand to tell you, but it's a digital meat thermometer. And I asked them, I was looking for something that could check air temperature, and they said this won't check air temperature. Well, guess what? It does. It's just a little slow at it. It takes time to build up because it's got to heat that probe up on the end before it will get up to the whatever temperature it's recording. It takes it a little bit, but anyways, it works fine. So that goes down into the oven. You click on. It tells you Celsius, Fahrenheit, whichever you're more comfortable with. I'm a Fahrenheit person. But see, now this is the opening. That's where I was having a magnet, the magnet part of the speaker go down into the box to seal. I'd have a seal around it, just a shirt or something, a couple shirts. It seals it enough. But usually I have the whole top on. It's insulated with pink insulation, the styrofoam, and it's made out of wood and coated with silicone on the inside, because silicone is an insulator, and it's also very resilient to catching fire. And that's important because this is a whole manual setup. I don't have it digitized. I don't have any kind of thermometer settings or anything on it to check the temperatures. I watch the temperature myself, so I have to stay with this thing. So I want to make it as safe as I could for being as unsafe as it is. Okay, so I'll cap the video off right here. Just I'll probably put a list of the parts or something up. But the main things that you're going to have, the main things you need is, of course, cleansing agents like acetone. You don't want your fingerprints and stuff, because no matter how clean your hands are, oils build up really fast. You'll know that if you ever wiped your fingers down a glass storm door or whatever, You want latex gloves. That's very important. Those are powder coated, and you'll remove the powder when it's time to wrap the coil, because you don't want any contaminant on the voice coil. So there you are, the Ramco epoxy and the Reynolds foil. I said that's very important. You'll know why later, because you're going to learn from my past mistakes. If you don't abide by what I say on that, you got to use that stuff as part of the fix. Okay, so this is part one. Let's see, part two, I guess I'll get to diagnosing what's wrong with the speaker and subsequently taking it apart and fully diagnosing it, then getting everything ready for the repair.